What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth. So, Westside Gunn, the Grizel, the architect, the curator, the most merciful and benevolent fly god, is back on the scene with a brand new mixtape entitled Peace, Fly God. It is his first drop of the year, released as a surprise mixtape to prepare fans for his anticipated upcoming album, Michelle Records. It's just 10 songs lasting approximately 34 minutes. The majority of the production is split between Don Carrera and Madlib. Don Carrera does 5 and Madlib does 3. Conductor Williams and Derringer also each contribute a beat. Now, the thing about this tape is that it was allegedly unmixed and unmastered because Westside Gunn wanted to get it out to fans as quickly as possible, and also so that it would intentionally sound very raw. As far as the features are concerned, he enlists bro A.A. Rashid, Estee Knack, and Stove God Cooks. Now, they are hidden from the track list, but in a Ray and Ghost like fashion, these guests do pop up several times on the album. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. This opens with the Peace Fly God intro that contains motivational words from bro A.A. Rashid over some female vocal chops. It's a pretty standard way to kick off a Westside Gunn project, and beat was handled by Don Carrera. Now, track 2, Jesus Crack, lasts a whopping 8 minutes and 12 seconds. It's a posse cut with Estee Knack and Stove God Cooks. They're all cooking up some marvelous drug talk over a drumless soul sample that's a little slower and psychedelic. Estee Knack sets this off with 2 grimy verses. Now, I can't say that I found much quote-worthy to talk about from his part, but I did enjoy his overall gritty vocal presence. He just brings that gutter East Coast aesthetic to records, so I can understand his appeal. I thought Westside Gunn's verse was solid. The following line stood out to me. My main fiend, a white boy, long hair, blue eyes, we call him Jesus Crack. He then mentions being in a Tesla Jeep bumping some old Grand Poobah, which immediately goes into the actual snippet of Grand Pooba's verse off the classic brand Nubian single Slow Down from their classic album All For One. The sample was very dope and unexpected. It surprisingly transitioned smoothly back into the initial Don Carrera beat, but I thought it was a cool little detail that hip-hop heads would love. Grand Poobah was one of the flyest cats in the game, so it was only right that the Fly God will pay homage to him on this track. I thought Stove God's verse was just alright for his capabilities, but I did find his hook to be pretty entertaining in a sick and twisted way. For God so loved the world, he gave us dope. For God so loved the world, he gave us cocaine. It's so blasphemous that it's a little funny. Track 3, Ritz Barleton, is mostly an Estee Knack song with an abbreviated Westside Gunn verse. This has a grimy but sophisticated instrumental from Don Carrera. I dug the off-kilter bright pianos and drums. Yes, drums. Thankfully. So there wasn't too much to dissect lyrically for me, but Estee Knack and Westside Gunn do a good job of tapping into that drug dealers meets the art world aesthetic. It's definitely a lane that Gunn has perfected. The following Big Ass Bracelet has Westside Gunn and Stove God rapping over a stripped back soul sample, the kind of instrumental that you could envision either Rock Marcy or Ghostface on, very vintage 60s, 70s female soul singing vibes. Westside Gunn states, Ma was a basshead, could blame it on Reagan. What if I tell you drug dealers was God's favorite? 300 for a plate and didn't taste it. You ever left a tip so big you fuck a waitress? I can't say that I'm on that level just yet, Gunn, but you did inspire me here for sure. Stove God has some clever bars too, like, I was praying in the dirt, one day I bloom, became Hove in a metal mask, I be Sean Doom, and Stove Jesus on the cross screaming forgiveness. It's pretty over-the-top sacrilegious stuff. But yeah, I liked Big Ass Bracelet, although I could see some folks starting to become fatigued by the drumless production thus far. The subsequent song, Bobby Roode, has another soulful beat without much percussion. It's an attractive enough loop, but it was at this point in the album that this style of production began to wane on me slightly. I just feel there should have been something a little more up-tempo during this segment of the album. That being said, this particular mid-tempo drumless soul instrumentation is definitely a vibe and an aesthetic. So this one is basically an Estenac solo. However, I did find it to be my least favorite on the project. Right after is Derek Bowman featuring Stove God. This is where Madlib takes over on the production front for the following 3 songs. And this is still drumless, but Madlib's production is a little richer, a little more glorious. It's a classy beat for sure. Westside Gunn states, "Ayo, rest in peace Virgil, rest in peace Dolph, come a dollar short, rest in peace your moms." And it's so Westside Gunn to end that bar disrespectfully. I liked when Stove God said, "I went Bobby on the digital." Now the rest of the verse was pretty standard stuff for Stove, heavy shooter talk, witty basketball references, and religious blasphemy. I also enjoyed what sounded like ad-libs from MOP sprinkled lightly throughout the song. The following track, Horses on Sunset, is also one of the standouts. The Madlib instrumental has a murky piano melody and a drum presence. Stove God comes through with a catchy hook, which shows his continued knack in that department. Overall, I did consider this to be a dope song, but I wish it was longer rather than just having one Westside Gunn verse, a hook, and a skit. Afterwards is the Westside Gunn solo Open Praise, which has a gloomy yet lavish beat from Madlib. It's very drug dealer chic, something for the top of New York. It's just one Westside Gunn verse followed by a hook, so it felt a little fleeting and undercooked, but I did enjoy the production and overall vibe of this record. The second to last song, Dan Hausen, is another high point on the project. The quirky horn loop from Conductor Williams goes hard, making it the punchiest and most energetic beat on the album. It contains 2 verses from Westside Gunn, which were mostly coherent and solid. Then the album wraps up with Flip vs. Phil, which is just an outro skit featuring some bars from The Fiend, Eastside Flip, over a very lo-fi soul instrumental from Derringer. Now, I would have preferred if this was an actual song, given that the beat was dope, even though the mixing was pretty bad. Yeah, intentionally, I know. Overall, I give this album a rating of 3.5 mics. It's not bad for a surprise mixtape. It's something to hold the fans over until the full-length project drops. I do think Westside Gunn succeeds in giving his listeners a raw and unfinished sound with heavy artistic vibes, from the cover to the arty and creative touch that he is able to stamp on each one of his releases. Is definitely an aesthetic or mood that I was able to appreciate. When talking about the production, I feel Don Carrera did a pretty good job, although I can see some of his beats being an acquired taste given that they were mostly skeletal, hazy, moody, and mid-tempo. I ultimately found myself enjoying the Madlib portion of the production the most, but Conductor Williams was able to come through with one of the hardest beats, no doubt. With respect to Stove God Cooks, I think he performed well as expected, although for me, I do find his angle to be slightly predictable. I know, Griselda fans, please don't kill me. I actually had some of my boys in a group chat earlier call me a hater when I said that I didn't love Stove God's performance, or that I found him to be a little too gimmicky at times. That being said, Stove God's the man, but there are artists that we all gravitate to more than others. Now, as far as Estenac, I was happy to see him get some burn on this project. I know he has a pretty big fan base, so I'm sure they were pleased to hear him on 3 songs. Lyrically, Estenac doesn't stand out all that much to me, although I think he has a great voice, and he brings that gritty presence to these records, so that I can respect. So yeah, at the end of the day, this was a cool little artistic project that I think most Westside Gunn fans will enjoy. My favorite tracks include Jesus Crack, Big Ass Bracelet, Derek Bowman, Horses on Sunset, and Dan Hausen. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Westside Gunn, peace, fly God one.